Welcome to EdScoop TV. I'm Wyatt Kash, and we're here today with Jean Tower. Jean is the Director of Media and Digital Learning at the Needham Public Schools in Needham, Massachusetts. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Let's start initially by just having you describe a little bit about the size of your district, the number of students, and the IT team that helps support them.
Okay. Needham Public Schools is a suburb of Boston. We have 8 schools and about 5,600 students. That's a good-sized medium district for Massachusetts, where every town has their own school district. It's not like the county-based districts in other parts of the country. On the instructional IT side, in information services, we have 8.5 positions. And on the more instructional digital learning and media side, we have 22 positions. So that my department includes libraries, the TV teacher, and all the instructional technology support.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the major initiatives that you're tackling at Needham Public Schools, both as you look to the upcoming year and the next couple of years.
So one of the things we are doing is creating a strategic plan around technology. And I'm new to the district. I've just been there a year and a half, and they haven't had a technology plan for several years. So we're really taking our time in trying to gather a group of stakeholders that represents people across the entire school district, because we don't want this to be a plan that comes out of a technology perspective, but more of a teaching and learning perspective. So that's a little bit of a challenge, getting people invested and getting everyone on the same page so we all have the same understanding about the charge and what we're doing.
And can you talk a little bit about maybe other infrastructure or learning management system initiatives that the school's taking as well?
Sure. We have plenty of those. So in infrastructure, my colleague who's in charge of the infrastructure part is ramping up so that our elementary schools get to ubiquitous wireless with dense coverage. So before I got to the district, the elementary schools only had desktop computers. They didn't have any mobile technology. And in that year and a half, we've brought a lot of mobile technology into the elementary schools. And actually, that's one of the things that's been a really proud moment, is that teachers who were initially a little bit afraid of this and wondering why elementary school kids needed it are now totally gung-ho and have really taken it on with a really good perspective around innovation and teaching and learning, which is excellent. And so that's informing our work forward. We're also, at the same time, changing over from our current content management system for our website to a new one, and shopping for a good learning management system. So there's a lot going on. A lot of challenges.
Let's talk a little bit about privacy concerns and security a little, if you care to chat about that. What kind of initiatives is your district taking? I know CoSN has recently introduced some guidelines in that area. Can you talk a little about that?
So I think CoSN's guidelines are wonderful and cover the whole breadth of privacy and how to deal with vendors and how to look at cloud contracts and the whole bit. But when I got to Needham, one of the challenges that I found immediately was that there was nothing in place, no guidelines for teachers on which digital tools to use, what were they allowed to use with students and what they shouldn't use. And so we had a little bit of the Wild West, where teachers were using click-through software without giving the proper attention to really student data privacy. So one of my challenges was to create a process that wasn't a bottleneck, that helped push innovation, but at the same time look to safeguard student data privacy. So we created a process and guidelines for teachers for how they look at those things, how to read a terms of service, how to look at things like age requirement, how to look at the data privacy, and then work with their technology specialists in their building to decide, is this something that probably is going to get approved? And if so, they put in a form for me to review. But a lot of it doesn't get to me now because they realize, oh, this is not going to get approved. This has to be 18 years old or older, and so we're not going to ask for this.
Sounds like you're training them pretty well then.
Well, it was, I think, daunting.
Yeah.
You know, teachers aren't used to that. That's a lot of work. But I think that the message has gotten across that we all have to own this. We can't rely on one part of the school district to be in charge of everything to do with student privacy.
And lastly, is there a project or initiative that you've and your team have accomplished over the last year you're particularly proud of?
So I mentioned the elementary, so I'll switch to something else. We started with one-to-one in grade 6 in our district, and those students will now be coming to the high school. And so one of our challenges will be to make that a smooth transition, where we're going to be moving from iPads to Chromebooks, and supporting high school teachers. They haven't had one-to-one before. What I'm proud of is how well the 6th, 7th, 8th grade teachers have really come a long way from the first year where we were one-to-one. And we made small goals. This was even before I got in the district. So they said, all right, this year we're going to figure out how to use it to help students be organized. Mm-hmm. And every year we've added to those goals to the point that it's really now not an initiative. It's the way we do business. Teachers all embrace using the iPads for teaching and learning. If you ask a student how they take notes, they couldn't do it without their iPad. So it's been a really good transition, I think.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, Jean, thank you so much for stopping by or sharing some of the things that you're working on at Needham Public Schools, and really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Wyatt Kash with EdScoop TV. Thanks for watching.